Des yeux qui font baisser les miens, un rire qui se perd sur sa bouche, voilà le portrait sans retouche de l'homme auquel j'appartiens. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, qu'il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi, moi pour lui dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, l'a juré pour la vie.
What's your name?
Benoit Godbout.
I see. And what's your date of birth?
September the 27th, 1925.
1925. Okay. And what is your place of birth?
Howe, Saskatchewan.
Where do you live today?
Today I live in Grand Falls, New Brunswick.
What street?
I live in this 75 Portage Street.
My name is Yvonne Godbout Desjardins. My date of birth was January 19, 1927. Place of birth was Howe, Saskatchewan, Canada. Today I live in Grand Falls, New Brunswick, Canada, Tobic Street.
It would start with my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
They moved into Drummond.
Now, this is your grandfather on your mother's side?
On the side, yeah. At least they started on a piece of land with just wood. They had to chop down the first trees to make the house. I know that they were very hard workers, very religious. And when my grandfather was clearing his land, he got his land cleared a lot sooner than all the people around him because he learned how to use dynamite. Up the stumps, and nobody else used dynamite because they were afraid of that there. And he used to blow up the stumps, so he got his land cleared a lot faster than anybody else.
How did he get dynamite? How did he?
Oh, dynamite you could get easily at that time.
The hardware store?
Oh, I don't know where they got it, but he got it.
Yeah. Where did they live?
They lived in Drummond.
Okay.
In the second row, they call that.
Right.
This row is there.
So they were. If they're on your mother's side, they were the
Terrio. Yeah.
Let's talk about your mom and dad. You know, why did they go to Saskatchewan in the first place?
Well, for my dad, first place, he went there when he was probably 17 or 18, very young. First of all, he was like mostly all the Godbouts. He was an adventurer. He wasn't afraid to like go someplace else, not stay around. Okay, there was no opening for people that at that time except to go in the woods, and so he got that chance from the government. Were offering land for very, very cheap, an acre or for a piece of land, like maybe $10 for 160 acres or something like that.
$10 for 160,
but they had to like develop the work on it.
Right.
About 6 months a year or something like that.
Right, but he get to keep the land.
Oh yeah, he got to keep the land.
Did he go out by himself?
No, he went out there with I think 3 or 4 of his friends.
Oh, okay.
All of them came back, but he found a job in the city during the winter. So he worked at the bar there. Mm-hmm. He was the bartender. The government closed down the bars after a while there, like or we should call that the prohibition, and then that's where he lost his job at the same time.
So he's there. He built a house.
He wasn't at the same place all the time. The first place there, he worked on that place for a while, and then he found that other place there closer to town, about a mile from Hawaii, and the land was pretty well. The lot of land was already tilled and ready to sow.
les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur.
My name is Annette Godbout, and I am the father's brother's first doctor. She was married to a Caron, 2 weeks Caron, and she had her own. One mother lost her husband, her first husband. She went to live with her own mother, who was married to Joseph Godbout. And father was in Saskatchewan. And his mother wrote it in and said there's a nice nice little boy for you at your brother's place. And so father went to New Brunswick. He had been, it was time he made to visit them. So he met mother.
They married young.
Yeah.
She was only 18 when she married her first husband, Louis Caron. And he worked, well, she met him before because he was working for her father.
Mm-hmm.
And since my mother, since she was the eldest of the family, and the rest were all girls, the boys was just a young leader. Well, she worked with her father a lot too, outside.
Mm-hmm.
So she's able to work with Louis, and
Yeah.
But he was very poor, and he worked on the winter time. He had to work in the woods, and he got sick, and he died. He worked so hard, you know.
How many children?
She had 4.
Four children.
Rose was the eldest.
Yes.
And then she had Edgar.
Yeah.
The girl was Berta.
Here.
And the last one was Alexander, the name of her father.
Okay. And
They died young.
Yeah.
They died young. Their father was a weak man, so maybe they took
the gene or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But you don't know how they died off.
no, they didn't die at birth, but they died just babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
sure, Annette she had lost. In 5 years of marriage with him, she lost him. She lost 3 children, and she was, very. Then she didn't have any help for the children now at that time. So she had to go to every house and work with, bringing Rose with her to work for this woman and for this woman, and that's the way she lived.
yeah.
She was the oldest of the family, so she had to grow old quick and help, like they did at that time.
What?
She married young,
Yeah.
the first time, and then she was widowed.
How young is young?
Well, I would say maybe 17, 18, 16, maybe, I don't know, the first time.
So she married a man named
Carl,
Louis.
Carl.
How old was he when he died? About
I would say maybe 24, 25. I'm sure it was before 30. He probably wasn't ill when she married, but very soon after was tuberculosis, which was something that not much cure for that at the time.
Well, my father, as you might have heard, he liked to travel.
Yeah.
He has this in his blood. He had to see the world. And so going to Saskatchewan, he was seeing the world for him, that time, during that time. So he was over there, and he'd work there. And
now he was originally from Grand Falls.
Grand Falls.
Yeah.
Yes. And he was born in Quebec, though.
Just a quick insert. When I interviewed Ben, Yvonne, and Annette, they primarily talked about Marie's side of the family, the Tadios. We had meant to come back to the Godbout side of the family, Eli's parents and his siblings, but we never did because we got right into the story of how Eli and Marie met and then went off to Saskatchewan to form a family, etc. And so without any further ado, Abraham Godbout was born February 9th, 1847, in a town called Lavelde, Green Island, Quebec, Canada. When he turned 21, he married Georgina Lebris, who was born on September 28th, 1844. They were married in a town called St. Eloi. This is where Eli was born. From 1869 to 1890, they had 14 children. But infant mortality took 3 of his sons. He had settled on a small farm in his locality, but the soil was poor and rocky, and he struggled to support his family. So settlers from his hometown had already established themselves in Drummond, New Brunswick, and encouraged him to come there, where there was much better opportunities for him to find work for himself and his family. In 1892, at the age of 45, he took his family and moved to Drummond. The Goodbout family established themselves in the Einshon area, assisting 3 McCluskey brothers in clearing their land. Abraham and his sons worked extremely hard, which impressed the McCluskeys, who 3 years later gave them the concession titles for 2 lots consisting of 100 acres each. On November 13, 1895, he became the official owner. Abraham Goodbout died on January 11, 1919, at the age of 72 years old. His wife Georgina died on January 1st, 1936, at the age of 92.
His mother was very, she was very worried about him. And then she heard about this little widow, my mother, who was her husband had just died. And she said, well, come over. And then his father was died. Mm-hmm. So he came to see his father before he died. And there, his mother had made the
little widow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it just did I can see it went very fast.
It did.
Because when he went back to Saskatchewan,
yeah,
he was married.
He was married.
Yes.
So it was a whirlwind.
And I can say, yeah, it's something that went very fast.
Yeah.
So that's how they landed there.
His father his own father was very sick. So when he married Annette, they did have a big wedding celebration. And then the wedding happened. And he hadn't invited anybody because it was something very private. No. But everybody knew and everybody stayed. They took the train after a while and went to Saskatchewan together. And he took with himself and one of the sons of his older brother, because his little boy was orphan from his mother. And he did not his father, but his father was married to my grandmother and a great family. Mm-hmm. So they were glad to her.
Of course, it was, like I told you, these families were close before.
Yeah.
So it was quite convenient for the two to be married, or two. And he was quite successful. He appeared a lot more successful than he really was. Yeah. He came here with all dressed up in very expensive clothes and fur coat and a fur hat and whatnot, and
did he borrow it?
No. It's possible, He liked to show off.
Yeah.
He had a lot of friends.
Okay.
It didn't take him long to make friends. Mm-hmm. He was very talkative, mm-hmm. Something like Serge. Mm-hmm. He liked to tell jokes, and he wouldn't play any prank on anybody, though. But as far as telling stories, he loved to tell stories.
Funny man? Was he
funny?
Yeah.
And he'd tell us really scary stories, like something that would scare you really.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd tell it as though it happened to him.
By the time she met your father, Eli,
yes,
Rose was
about 5 or 6 years old.
already.
Years old,
cool.
Yeah.
So she was on her way to just growing up a little bit there.
Yes.
So now they meet, they fall in love.
As I can see, they didn't take very long. They were back in Saskatchewan.
And the name of the town again?
Hoey.
Hoey. I guess it's a Indian name in a way.
This was the name of the first person who came to this town.
Okay.
He was left. I think he left. He wasn't there anymore.
He
But
started
his
it.
name was Howie. He was an Englishman.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Oh, okay.
not Indian.
It went fairly quick for her to go back, right?
Right, yeah, it didn't take long. But
Not even a year.
no, not even a year.
So,
He had at that time, and they had a little house built on his other place there.
yeah. I mean, she had a whole family here.
Yeah, right here in Drummond.
Yeah, in this
The whole family was here. The girl, her sisters, and one brother, and of course all the relatives. Some of them were married probably at the time, and
Yeah. So that's quite up. She must really be taken for going out with him for less than a year, and marry, and then take away from.
and that was far. That was on the other end of the world.
So that's quite a traumatic thing.
Yes, it's
Her, her daughter.
it's a big decision for sure.
After he got married, how long was it before it started having children?
I don't think any more than a year he got Annette.
Okay. And then that was
And
the
then-
firstborn.
About every year and a half after that,
Another shot.
Yeah.
Okay. What was Rose to you? What
She was about 6 or 7 years older than that.
Okay. And how was Rose? Tell me about Rose.
Rose was very nice. She was like a little sister, and when I started walking, and I remember that I was walking on the floor and I was looking up as a hero, the whole family. So I there walked about, and the Rose took me standing on her the knees, and I can still make a little legs work, and she said she's walking. So I thought she could definitely welcome this call. And listen up, she was very nice to me. She was that little sister. She was nice to all of us.
Rose took a lot of the responsibilities of the family, right?
Yes. You know, the first daughter in her family doesn't have as much learning as the others, because they keep her at home to help the house, take care of the children. So she didn't go to school for longer than 6 grades, and then in grade 8.
Rose is there, and then they have
Annette
Annette.
and Joseph and
They-
Therese and me and Dadix.
Rose is starting to help
Oh, yes.
all.
Yeah, when we were young, well, she was getting older, and she was helping all the time.
Yeah.
She was very good to us.
So by the time you're remembering anything of being a child, she's already
Yes.
12, 13 years old.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, oh, yes.
So she's like a mom to you in a lot of ways.
She was good to us.
In your early memories, what was your mom like? What did she do in the course of a regular?
I can tell you that she worked hard, and she had a garden, and she would work hard in her garden. She wanted, she liked to eat. She wanted food to eat.
Yeah.
And she could can all that stuff, and work, lots of work. And when we were older, we'll have to run in the fields and pick up raspberries, strawberries, gooseberries, any berries we could get. But over here they had the blueberries, but we didn't have the blueberries. We got Saskatoons. They were a little fruit on a tree, and they were just like blueberries,
Yeah.
just made the same. And it was really, really good. When the summer was over, the cellar was full.
Full, okay.
We never missed food. We always had a lot of food. What we had, the animals, we had the pigs we would kill for food, and the beef and all that. So we never really suffered from missing food. We had all the food, but we had to use. We would wear the coat that my eldest one had before, and we
Pass it right down the line, yeah.
line, and I think at least was the last one. But it was quite old.
Oh, we had to wear a lot of homemade clothes. A lot of it. Most of the time it was passed down clothes from one another.
What kind of boots? What was your feet?
We got a lot of times it was what they call moccasins.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just like the Indians.
Yeah.
And we had 2 or 3 pairs of homemade stockings in their home, wool stockings.
And they're made of hide?
Yeah, they're the Indians that used to make them. They were cheap.
Yeah.
You'd buy them at the store, and you put a pair of gum rubbers over that, or rubbers or whatnot.
Freezing though. I bet your feet were freezing.
Oh no, your feet were pretty good in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you'd be surprised how warm that was.
Really?
And your feet, like they're moving easy in there because it's soft.
Absolutely.
And a lot of stockings there. You kept your feet pretty warm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What are the pants made of?
We had corduroy, and we had, I don't know what all those materials were, but
It was the beginning of Levi's jeans or something.
Oh, we had jeans. The jeans was made to milk the cows, and like a person wouldn't even go to church if he didn't have anything else but jeans to put it on to go to church, because that was like work clothes.
Work clothes.
Yeah.
So what was the dress clothes like? Or did you?
Oh yeah. Well, we had once a suit, a good suit. You forget to have a good suit. Yeah.
We started school at around 6 years old.
Yeah.
And in our house, my mother couldn't speak a word of English.
Yeah.
And the school was English.
Mm-hmm.
So when we went to school, we started school, we didn't know how to speak English.
Mm-hmm.
So the teacher would be lined up against the wall and ask us our name.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd listen. If the others said their names, well, then I had to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't know. But a child learns very, very fast.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take long that you can talk. We learned English like that. In Hawaii was mostly French. The people were mostly French, but everybody spoke English.
Mm-hmm.
The school was English because that province we had 1 hour French. When we got home, we just speak French because my mother was French and her too well. We speak French, but at school, we mixed it up because most of the children in our town were French.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Mixed. Okay.
It was English. Of course, at school it was English because it was a standard language, more than French even. And we had all kinds of Germans, Hungarians.
Oh, really?
So you had to all cooperate together. Everybody was, there was no, like, you wouldn't say he's a such and such and put him aside for that. Everybody was, that wasn't the concern. You were French, you were English, you were German, you were Italian, you were Hungarian. We had Hungarians, and there was just talk together in English, and that's it.
Yeah.
We had Belgians, Hungarians, and we English, and what do they call métis? I don't know if you heard about métis. This is when the first settlers came to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
There were the Indians over there. So, well, the first settlers didn't have their wives there, but they married an Indian woman.
Right.
And this is a mixed race. So there were a lot of them there. There's a girl who is a métis who helped her a lot after we were gone.
Mm-hmm.
And she kept writing to my mother here in Grand Falls all the time, and now she writes to Ben.
Oh, really? So she
stays in contact with the family all the time.
He was French, but he spoke English pretty good.
My father?
Yeah.
He spoke English just like you.
Really?
Yeah. He learned that by himself.
Yeah.
And he hardly went to school. And he learned how to count and numbers. He was very, very, very sharp with numbers. And he could read, he could write, yeah, all by himself. Like, he learned that by himself.
Really?
Because he hardly went to school.
Yeah. So he had to learn it in order to, especially to do the
Business.
finance.
I think he had to.
How many acres were you on?
We had 260 acres.
360.
Yeah.
So you got a bit of land there.
The out west is not much.
Yeah. What crops did you grow?
Like wheat. Well, at first it was wheat, barley, and oats.
Mm-hmm.
We'd sow 2/3 of the land, and the 1/3 was summer fall, they call that.
Mm-hmm.
It was just plowed over and like kept the weeds down and whatnot, and we wouldn't have anything growing on that that part of it. Then we'd put the wheat on that part. We rotated all the time. We never added fertilizer over there, not once. I don't remember even spreading fertilizer or not. We didn't put any insecticide.
Yeah,
well, we didn't have any tractor until we got rich enough to buy a tractor, which was in probably 45, 44 or 45. Before that was horses.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Plowed
Had
with
to
horse.
plow, horse drawn.
And we harrowed with horses. We seeded with horses.
Good.
We harvest with horses.
Okay. And what kind of animals? You had animals on the farm?
We had cows.
Mostly cows.
Cows and pigs and hen and turkeys and well, of course, the horses, because we had to have horses to work with.
Very cold. How cold would it get?
Oh, well, we've seen below 50 degrees F.
Below 50.
But yeah, it's not every day. I think that happened once for sure. I remember. Well, the thermometer, you know where the bulb is there?
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't see that little line anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. So and how long is the winters? Where do they go from?
The winter is probably earlier than here, but the spring is earlier to come. Spring comes in a couple of days, 3 to 4 days. There's a mild wind. If that mild wind starts to blow in March, usually, it melts the snow in 2-3 days.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
So when does the winter start? When you start?
Well, sometimes as soon as October.
October.
It start to get cold.
Yeah.
In the fields, in winter, you could walk on the snow. There was a little crust, and then underneath that it was just like sugar.
Okay.
Yeah, like you'd sink
Oh, it's soft.
go right through the ground, about maybe 10 inches, a foot of snow, and that's it. It was dry and cold.
Yeah.
No rain ever in winter, no ways.
Now you're in the school, and how is that?
We
do that.
sat in the grade 1 to 8 was in the same room, and then we had the upstairs. From 1 to 7, 8 to 12 was upstairs. So we were all mixed up. But that wasn't a very big school, just a little town. I don't know why the kids were all French. Both were French, but they learned English before we did. They all spoke English. So when we started school, we were in the same classroom with all the big kids, and we always listened. If you want to or not, there's the teachers teaching for the class. There's teaching grade 8 or grade. You'll always keep it handy what's going on, and so you learn a lot from. We got to grade 11, we had heard about all the subjects before, so it wasn't so hard. For 1 to 8, it was the same teacher. The teachers were working for their kids. They were earning their money.
So for those 8 years, did you like that teacher? Was she a good teacher?
I had yes. When we were younger, we liked the teacher very much.
Okay.
She was they were good.
Okay.
We didn't have the same one all the time, but they were all good. I don't remember having any trouble there.
Okay. And the summer vacations, what are you guys doing? What do you?
Well, mostly would pick the berries.
Picking the
I
berries.
think that's what we the kids would do. Pick the berries. But when my mother was canning her peas, well, we had to shell the peas and all things like that, and milk the cows. We had one morning, we were getting ready to school, and that cow was a new cow. We always cut the horns on the cows, but my dad just had bought that one, and it didn't want to follow the others. And when the others were all trained to come at the house for the milking one, but this one was always running away. So Joe got on the horse, and one of our best horse that we liked so much, and he went to get it. And he got it up to the park area there. And I remember we were looking through the window when we arrived, and the cow just turned right around, and her with her horn, she just first pierced the horse.
The horse in the
neck, yeah.
In the neck.
And then it started to flow. The blood would come down, and it just died from
fast.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And we're just there crying, and we're so sad.
Yeah.
Because we liked that horse so much. The horse we could ride. We couldn't ride on all of the horses. There's only one that they were trained, that this one wasn't the best. I think the horse had the habit of when the cows wouldn't go as fast enough. He just dipped on them a little.
But
the
this
cat
new cat was like
didn't
used to.
want that. She
Yeah.
didn't want it.
So the days are a lot of work.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
Yes.
And besides that, though, where's the fun now? Where the weekends? Do you have a little more?
Yeah, what the children from the village, which is just a mile away, they like to come to the farm, so they come over and we had fun. But Alex and I, there was just not much wood. It was prairies.
Yeah.
Like, so there was a little bush with trees. Beside we had the kind of the lake there, lake, and we'd play a lot there because the summers were so hot.
But we had we had a lake right behind the house, which kept the water a long time. It dried every year and later on in the summer there, or sometimes it would last right through, and we'd have a skating rink on that.
Keeping things cold, you had a little shed or something like that. How did that work?
Oh, we had an ice house, which Dad, I don't know where he got that idea, but I don't see anybody else that had one.
Oh, that was a unique thing to you, huh?
Yeah, he had pretty far-fetched ideas on things like that.
And they worked.
Anyways, it worked.
Yeah.
Sure, it worked. He made a little frame building, just sawed lumber that was just not even plain. It was just rough. And put that together, and he put poles around that, and he filled it up with hay over the shed, to make it a hay all over to insulate it.
Right.
Which was, for that time, he had to think a lot of. He had a pretty good head there.
Yeah.
And he made it so it was just like a little igloo type. Yeah, there was a door there, and the wall was about, I would say, 18 to 2 feet thick.
Oh, okay.
Filled with straw around it. He just put a frame with poles around it to hold the straw.
Right.
And he filled it up with straw.
Straw
with
string and mud?
lots of straw over there. No, he just put straw.
Straw
And I put the straw over the top, cover it, and then he put sawdust inside of that. And he
dug a hole too, or something, or just sawdust in right on the ground.
Right on the ground.
Okay.
He could have had a little bit of a hole, not much probably, not more than a couple of feet anyways at that time that I remember. Of course, that was built before probably I was old enough to see what was going on. I don't remember him building it.
How big was it?
I would say 15 feet long by 12 wide. And he'd go out on the river and cut squares of ice, big cubes of ice. They had a saw that they could saw ice with. And they bring that with a wagon. That was the river was 5 miles from home.
5 miles?
5 miles. They'd go over there and get a load of ice cubes like that. And he'd put it on in all piled together, and then he'd cover that with sawdust, and that will last right through the winter, right through the summer. It's the insulation, sawdust is a very, very good insulation. The hay was it was over that other
frame.
building,
Yeah.
to keep the sun and everything out of that building.
Yeah.
And it kept it it kept a good shade inside, but what kept the ice is sawdust.
Okay. When you say you drank the water, how did you cleared off some sawdust?
We took the sawdust off of the ice and
brought a piece of the house.
Broke a chunk off, or took a piece of a block. The blocks were big. They were, I would say about over a foot square, and probably this high, because the ice froze deep over there. Yeah. Well, they take special tools to lift the blocks onto the wagon.
Right.
Saw the blocks with a big ice saw. Unbury a piece there, and we take a piece out of that, and we drink that water. That was from a river, big river, Saskatchewan River.
We drink that.
Cold. Oh, you drink the ice?
We drink the ice.
Oh, okay. But it also keep things cool in there?
Yes,
for food
we put if we want to put cool something, we put that over the ice.
How did he bring the ice back and forth
with horses.
with horses in the west?
Sleighs, the sleighs and the box on the sleigh.
And you get big chunks of ice.
Oh yeah,
And it lasts right through the summer.
right through the summer.
Well, you had a well too, right?
Yeah, we had a well, but the water was so hard. It was, you couldn't even wash clothes hardly with that. So my father built a cistern, he called that. It's a big hole in it, and the water from the rain, like it was all piped down to go in there.
Oh, you had a funneled to a certain.
Yeah, well, from the eaves troughs down, and then would go right into that cistern underneath the house.
Okay.
So and then there was a trap in the floor where you could take the trap off and dip that from with a pail and put that in a big tank right close by, and we'd dip water from that to wash and to wash clothes and whatnot because it was soft water. The well water, you couldn't wash clothes with that. It was so hard that the soap wouldn't even melt in it. A lot of minerals in there. We didn't even use it to wash our hands. You couldn't, like, the soap wouldn't make any suds in that at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just like it made like little curdles in there.
Right.
It wouldn't make any suds.
Right.
We all eat in the kitchen. It's a big room, a very big room with a table no longer than that one there.
All ate together.
The boys would sit in the back. And yeah, we all ate together.
Yeah. How many bedrooms would you say?
We had 2 bedrooms. The ones for the girls were bigger, and
Yeah.
the boys just had just a little room on the top of the stairs. Just a little room there. It was just a place for a wood bed.
Yeah.
So the boys slept there.
Bunk bed,
Boys.
little bunk beds.
Well, no, they were both in the same bed.
Same bed,
Yeah.
Eric. And then,
And then Alex and I, you see, we were quite a few girls there.
yeah.
So when we were younger, I know some slept on the foot of the bed,
Yeah.
the small ones, and the other ones slept on
The bigger
because
bus.
there were just 2 beds, and we were Rose and Annette and Therese and I and Alex. And when my mother was ill, well, we had to have a woman to help her. So
So that woman slept with you too?
And that's nothing. Most of the time you had hired help, and the hired hand had to have a space to sometimes he was probably sleeping. Well, a lot of the time he was sleeping on the floor on a mattress made of straw.
Upstairs with you guys?
No, yeah, sometimes.
Where?
And sometimes it was downstairs in the kitchen, probably. I don't remember very well. They'd pick that up in the morning.
we didn't mind.
Yeah.
We were all like that. Everybody was poor, and that was
Normal.
normal for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it was.
Where mom and dad had their own bedroom too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's
downstairs.
So it's like
they were downstairs.
yeah.
And were close to that little stove we had at the living room was more like a passageway to go to the other places.
Okay, so the living room was a separate room that. Did you all go there at night after dinner and?
No, we always stayed in the kitchen.
Always in the kitchen.
Well, everything was done in the kitchen too. The kitchen was the biggest place in the house.
Oh.
So there was room for working on our homework, school.
Yeah.
And my dad, he was finished his work and sit with his bike.
How do you get light at night?
Kerosene lamps.
Kerosene lamps. Yeah.
Later on, we had a gas lamp, which we compressed gas.
Oh, okay.
Like gasoline. No, it was not gasoline. It was naphtha, which we burned from there because gasoline would smoke. It made a very good light.